You spend 13 years in school memorizing that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, or how to calculate the area of a trapezoid. Then you graduate, get your first job, and someone hands you a stack of paperwork that looks exactly like this. Nobody taught you what a W-2 actually means. Nobody explained how taxes function, what a credit score dictates, or how compound interest can either quietly build your wealth or completely destroy it. The education system left you totally defenseless against the machinery of the adult economy. So we're going to fix that. We are going to cover the entire financial survival curriculum your school skipped, in a fraction of the time you spent learning about the War of 1812. We're breaking down 5 specific rules: how to track your net worth, the actual math of compound growth, the exact difference between good and bad debt, the reality of tax brackets, and how to manipulate your credit score. Feeling lost while managing your money is the predictable outcome of an education system that prioritized trivia over survival. Master these 5 concepts, and you reclaim the control that the curriculum intentionally withheld. Let's start with your baseline. Right now, there are 3 numbers defining your financial life. Number 1 is your income, every dollar coming in. Number 2 is your expenses, everything going out. But number 3 is the metric most young adults ignore completely. Look at this formula. Your net worth is simply everything you own minus everything you owe. If you have $2,000 in savings and an $8,000 car, but you owe $19,000 in student loans and credit cards, your net worth sits at negative $9,000. At 22, that negative balance is a normal starting point. The specific number matters less than the direction it's headed next. Driving that trajectory upward requires more than a standard savings account, which often leaves progress flat. To build an exponential curve, you must use compound interest. When you put money into an investment, like an index fund, it earns a return. Take $1,000 at a 10% average return. After 1 year, you have $1,100. In year 2, you don't earn 10% on the original $1,000, you earn it on the $1,100. Your money begins earning money on the money it already earned. See what happens when we stretch this out. $1,000 invested at age 22 grows to roughly $45,000 by the time you hit 65, without you adding another cent. But if you wait until you are 32 to invest that exact same $1,000, it only reaches $17,000. The single decade you wait mathematically bleeds away $28,000. Time is the active ingredient in wealth creation, and you possess more of it right now than you ever will again. But time only helps if you aren't actively sinking. Most people are taught debt is inherently shameful, something you hide from and avoid at all costs. Some debt is terrible, yes, but not all debt is the same. We must separate bad debt from good debt. Bad debt is borrowing money at a high interest rate to buy something that rapidly loses value, like a 22% interest credit card balance, a payday loan, or a brand new car you can barely afford. Good debt is borrowing at a low rate to buy something that appreciates, like a reasonable mortgage or a strategic student loan. Before you sign for any loan, ask yourself a binary question. Is this specific debt making me richer over time or poorer? If it makes you richer, it is a tool. If it makes you poorer, it is a trap. And we apply a completely flawed logic to our income too. You have probably heard an intelligent adult say, "If I get a raise and move into a higher tax bracket, I'll take home less money." That is completely false. The US uses a progressive tax system, which we can map out right here. You do not pay your highest bracket rate on your entire income. Your income is split into discrete chunks. The first chunk sits in the 0% standard deduction zone. The next chunk gets taxed at 10%, the next at 12%, and so on. Only the specific dollars that spill over into the higher tier are taxed at that higher rate. This means your marginal rate, the highest tier you reach on your last dollar earned, is entirely different from your effective rate, which is the actual blended percentage you pay overall. As you can see, the effective rate always sits much lower. Getting a raise never causes you to take home less money. Never. Earning more always puts more cash in your pocket. The complexity of the tax code breeds a false fear that prevents upward mobility. While you're managing income and debt, there is a hidden scoreboard quietly evaluating your every move. a 3-digit number between 300 and 850 that dictates whether you can rent an apartment, secure a car loan, or get a mortgage. This is your credit score, and despite the mystery surrounding it, the formula is highly predictable. Look at this breakdown. Nearly 2/3 of your entire score is driven by just 2 slices of the pie: payment history, which makes up 35%, and credit utilization, sitting at 30%. You don't need a complex strategy to hack this. You just need to follow 2 behavioral rules. 1. Set everything to autopay so you never miss a due date. 2. Keep the balance on your credit cards below 30% of your total limit at all times. Consistently apply those 2 rules and your score will climb. Pushing that single number above 740 unlocks lower interest rates that can save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. It is the most profitable grade you will ever earn. You spent over a decade memorizing trivia, while the actual levers of the economy were hidden from you. But now you know the math behind compound growth, the difference between leverage and a trap, how progressive taxes actually work, and the formula to manipulate your credit score. The school system failed to prepare you for the realities of money. Knowing how the machinery operates means you no longer have to be a victim of it. True financial independence starts the moment you stop playing by their outdated rules and start commanding your own trajectory.